Hi Aries, welcome to your August reading. My name is Linda. Thanks for tuning in. I've already shuffled your cards and put your spread down. This is where you are now, the challenge you face, the resources you can use, the hidden forces, and the potential outcome. And from the runes, we're going to take one to understand what is the spiritual lesson in your situation. Aries, what I'm feeling here in your reading is that you might feel a little unfocused right now, or that you don't have like a clear direction to go in, or that you might feel like you have a lot of responsibility and you might feel overburdened by that, and you might be wanting to have, let's say, more support or other people involved to help you. But it looks here like, I hate to say this because it feels kind of harsh, but I kind of feel like the message here in your spread is sort of saying that, like, this is actually a time where you might need to just realize that you have to reassess things and address what's in front of you and take responsibility for what you need to do. Because I feel like there's a bit of an energy in this reading of maybe maybe a little bit of laziness or a lack of focus, a lack of willpower. Like, you might just be feeling really depleted and worn out and uninspired right now. And that might be relevant, like you might have had a rough time the last few weeks or even the last month, and you might not be feeling necessarily very motivated to work on much, or to address, what your future goals and aspirations are, and how to kind of move towards them. So maybe for some of you watching this reading, it's not about trying to find inspiration and motivation. Maybe this is about surrendering to the need to rest. Maybe it's about surrendering to the need to just be alone and feel into the emotions that are coming up, or feel into the energy that you're experiencing, and just sort of surrender and submit to that, rather than, trying to overthink it and distract yourself by keeping busy when you're not actually really achieving that much. That's some of what I'm feeling here in this energy is that there's like, yeah, a little bit of lack of inspiration here. For someone watching this reading, this could be a moment where there could be like potentially a breakup with the Two of Cups in the reverse position in the potential outcome. There could be a dissolving of a partnership, and that could also be what's making you feel a little lonely or depressed potentially, or not motivated to kind of get up and move on and work towards whatever is next. So this could actually just be a time for you to need to rest and recover, and just take time to be in the state that you're in with whatever emotions are coming up. For some of you, there's no Five of Cups here, so I'm not necessarily feeling that this is an energy for everybody, but someone here might need to just be in a state of grief. You might just be needing to let your emotions be expressed and purged, and just kind of go through a certain process where you are allowing yourself to go through that. If this is a work reading, it could be that you are, just not really feeling your work, and that there might be like a sense of just being overloaded with responsibilities and tasks that aren't very satisfying because you're not that interested in it, and it's just a job for money, something like that. And there could be also something here for some of you where this is about maybe realizing that a cycle, it needs to close out with a certain type of work that you're doing, and that this would be something to address in order to kind of turn this energy around and be able to get into a more happy state. You might need to accept or acknowledge that the kind of work you're doing is really not satisfying, even if it's bringing home the paycheck. If you're not in a position where you can actually transition to a new job, then there is something here in this reading that's talking about, again, like accepting what you're dealing with right now, and understanding that the way to convert this energy, if it is feeling like unhappy and like you're sort of struggling with what you need to do, then it's about figuring out sort of a game plan or a strategy so that you can actually get out of this energy and into a more happy space. There's something in this reading that I don't know if you can hear it in my tone, or if you can sense it from the actual transmission of the message, but it's kind of a struggle. Like, it's really hard, first of all, to really put my finger on exactly what this is. And so that could be something relevant for some of you as well. It's like you just feel off, but you don't really know exactly why. It might also be difficult to communicate or express what you're feeling, because I'm having trouble doing that as well. So that might be something that's coming up for some of you too, is that you can't necessarily put your finger on what it is that's not quite right or what's feeling off, and it's really hard for you to express your thoughts, express your feelings. There's kind of I don't know, what's the right word? Give me a second. I need to find the right word to describe this feeling that I'm getting right now. It's like heavy feet. You know, like dragging your feet along. It's like you're kind of, I'm getting this picture, a visual now of someone walking, but their head's down and they're kind of slumped over, and it's really hard to pick up their feet and put one foot in front of the other. It's that kind of an energy. So some of you might be in that kind of state where like physically you're exhausted, mentally you're exhausted, emotionally you're just not quite feeling it. You know, it's a sort of, it's kind of a heavy energy here. And I do feel like there is kind of a sense of needing to make some changes, but it might not be quite the right time yet, because you don't have things lined up in front of you to be able to actually just step out of where you are now in the energy of what's not feeling good to move to something that does feel better, because you might not necessarily have any options or opportunities in front of you that you can see that are going to enable you to step out of this and transition to something new. So be patient, Aries. Don't feel like you have to make this into something positive if you're not feeling super positive right now, but do take time to rest. That's something very clearly coming through there with the Hermit, and even this Ten of Wands. It's like, I think firstly, maybe for someone watching this reading, it's about admitting to yourself that it's not working for you, right? Because I think that's the first step here. With this Ten of Wands in the reading, in the position of the spread that talks about the resources you can use, I think it's about you acknowledging that what's happening for you is not sustainable. Where you are right now is just not working for you. It's not making you happy. It's just a lot of heavy work, heavy labor. It's laborious, too much responsibility, unsustainable, right? Where you are, what you're doing is unsustainable. And I think from that point of being able to first acknowledge that what you're in is not really working for you, then you might be able to actually start to formulate some thoughts around what to do next. Because I think for someone watching this reading, some of you watching this reading, you haven't acknowledged to yourself yet that the situation you're in, the relationship you're in, the job that you're in, the house that you're in are not really working for you, and that you need to make a change. So if that's resonating for you, then take that first step of acknowledging that where you are right now is not leading to any kind of happiness or joy. And then you can start to formulate a game plan or a strategy of how to convert this energy into something that's more sustainable, that's more happy, that's more wholesome, that's more enjoyable. You know, I think for some of you, there's like you want to start something new, and you want to transition, but you're not sure yet. And for some of you, that's because you haven't been able to even acknowledge yet that where you are is not serving you, it's not satisfying you. The relationship you're in is not satisfying, the work you're in is not satisfying. There's something here about really like not very satisfying at all. And now this rune, let's take a look. So this rune is called Yira, and it's about harvest. It's about harvest. It's about the results of previous efforts being realized. So for some of you, and you can see there's no reversal, right? It's the same in either direction. So there can be multiple interpretations on that depending on your situation. So for some of you, this experience that you're having right now is the result of earlier efforts, because where you are right now is the sum total of decisions that you made in the past, or of actions that you made in the past, or actions that you continue to make now. So if where you are right now is not feeling good, it's because of actions you made and decisions that you made that have brought you to this place. Okay? So, and for others of you, the message here is that where you are right now is a result of what you've been doing. So maybe it's about acknowledging that this isn't working for you and figuring out how you can make a change or make a transition into something else, and then the next cycle, the next harvest will have more bountiful rewards, because you will have taken the very courageous step of acknowledging or accepting that where you are right now is not bringing you the results that you want, and so you need to change. You need to make changes. So let me read here in my notes what it says about the rune here, Yira. It's pronounced Yira. The results of earlier efforts are realized, a time of peace and happiness, a fruitful season. It can break through stagnancy, hopes and expectations of peace and prosperity, the promise of success earned, life cycle, cyclical patterns of the universe. Everything changes in its own time. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Everything changes in its own time. Yes, things change sometimes things change in their own times, but sometimes things can only change if we make a change, if we make a choice, if we make a decision to make it different, then it will change. Right? I think that's relevant for a lot of people watching this reading. The key point in this reading is this 10 of Wands, where it's about you realizing that what you are doing right now is not sustainable for you, and it's not bringing you the rewards and the satisfaction that you yearn. So you need to make a decision to change it. You need to make different plans or have different goals and strategize as to how you can move towards them and change your circumstances. So it says here in my notes, in the reverse position that, or in opposition, because there is no reversal, but in an opposition or in a debilitated position in a reading, this rune would talk about sudden setbacks, reversals, a major change, reputation, bad timing, poverty, and conflict. So I think in both directions, this rune could be relevant for anyone watching this reading. If anything I've talked about here in the spread is resonating with you, then I would say, again, acknowledging that you're not happy where you are, that you're not receiving the rewards that you feel you deserve, or you're not having the satisfaction that you yearn in life, then it's about acknowledging that so that you can then accept the responsibility, keyword, accept the responsibility of transitioning out of this energy into something else that will be more satisfying, that will bring you more hope and optimism and more rewards and more abundance. Okay, Aries, I think that's it for your reading for this month. It's been an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Bye for now.